LeBron James picks Cleveland. The decision made, the explanation simple enough. There it is. James' Instagram post, "I'm coming home."
Welcome to SportsCenter with John Anderson. I'm Lindsay Czarniak. So those 4 years in Miami, LeBron described like college for him. So now LeBron returning home with knowledge, with experience, and quite a talent for putting pen to paper.
Yeah, forget business. James' choice here entirely personal. For all the success he found with the Heat, there's one thing he couldn't replace: Ohio. He is a hometown boy, and the reasons he listed for returning to the Cavs on Sports Illustrated's website read like a love letter. Before anyone ever cared where I would play basketball, I was a kid from Northeast Ohio. It's where I walked, it's where I ran, it's where I cried, it's where I bled. It holds a special place in my heart. People there have seen me grow up. I sometimes feel like I'm their son. Their passion can be overwhelming, but it drives me. I want to give them hope when I can. I want to inspire them when I can. My relationship with Northeast Ohio is bigger than basketball. I didn't realize that 4 years ago. I do now. Remember when I was sitting up there at the Boys and Girls Club in 2010? I was thinking, this really is tough. I could feel it. I was leaving something I had spent a long time creating. If I had to do it all over again, I'd obviously do things differently, but I'd still have left. Miami, for me, has almost been like college for other kids. These past 4 years helped raise me into who I am. I became a better player and a better man. I learned from a franchise that had been where I wanted to go. I will always think of Miami as my second home. Without the experiences I had there, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today.
LeBron heads back to Cleveland, well aware of what he leaves behind in Miami. As he wrote in this next portion of the letter, it's the relationships that are hardest to walk away from. LeBron said, "I went to Miami because of D. Wade and CB. We made sacrifices to keep Udonis Haslem. I loved becoming a big bro to Mario Chalmers. I believed we could do something magical if we came together, and that's exactly what we did. The hardest thing to leave is what I built with those guys. I've talked to some of them, and we'll talk to others. Nothing will ever change what we accomplished. We are brothers for life. I also want to thank Mickey Arison and Pat Riley for giving me an amazing 4 years. I'm doing this essay because I want an opportunity to explain myself uninterrupted. I don't want anyone thinking he and Eric Spoelstra didn't get along. He and Riles didn't get along. The Heat couldn't put the right team together. That's absolutely not true. I'm not having a press conference or a party. After this, it's time to get to work." Speaking of getting to work, Mark Schwartz is down in Miami. And Mark, so a handful of hours have passed since news broke of LeBron's decision to go back to Cleveland. What has the reaction been all day long, really?
I'll tell you what, Lindsay, the first reaction I saw was the very face of our photographer we've worked with for 4 years in this town, and he wouldn't be on our payroll as much unless Dwayne Wade and LeBron James were getting the Heat to the NBA Finals. There was a look of devastation I've never seen on his face before, and I think it spoke volumes for everybody in this area. This means a lot not only to fans, but to people's livelihoods.
So to the next part of the letter written by LeBron, his unfinished legacy to be written. LeBron knows it will not be as smooth a transition as it was going from Cleveland to Miami. Here's what he said: "I'm not promising a championship. I know how hard that is to deliver. We're not ready right now. No way. Of course, I want to win next year, but I'm realistic. It will be a long process, much longer than it was in 2010. My patience will get tested. I know that. I'm going into a situation with a young team and a new coach. I will be the old head, but I get a thrill out of bringing a group together and helping them reach a place they didn't know they could go. I see myself as a mentor now, and I'm excited to lead some of these talented young guys. I think I can help Kyrie Irving become one of the best point guards in our league. I think I can help elevate Tristan Thompson and Dion Waiters, and I can't wait to reunite with Anderson Varejao, one of my favorite teammates. But this is not about the roster or the organization. I feel my calling here goes above basketball. I have a responsibility to lead in more ways than one, and I take that very seriously. My presence can make a difference in Miami, but I think it can mean more where I'm from. I want kids in Northeast Ohio, like the hundreds of Akron third graders I sponsor through my foundation, to realize that there's no better place to grow up. Maybe some of them will come home after college and start a family and open a business. That would make me smile. Our community, which has struggled so much, needs all the talent it can get. In Northeast Ohio, nothing is given. Everything is earned. You work for what you have. I'm ready to accept the challenge. I'm coming home. And naturally, team owners on both sides weighing in. First, the Heat's Mickey Arison saying, I am shocked and disappointed in today's news. However, I will never forget what LeBron brought us for 4 years. Thanks for the memories, King James. Very classy tweet.
Flip side of Blatt's happiness would be this. It's from Pat Riley, the Heat president, on LeBron's decision to return to the Cavaliers. Says, while I am disappointed by LeBron's decision to leave Miami, no one can fault another person for wanting to return home. The last 4 years have been an incredible run for South Florida, Heat fans, our organization, and for all of the players who were a part of it. LeBron is a fantastic leader, athlete, teammate, and person, and we are all sorry to see him go. Over the last 19 years since Mickey and I teamed together, the Miami Heat has always been a championship organization. We've won multiple championships, competed for many others. Mickey, Eric, meaning Eric Spoelstra, the coach, and I remain committed to doing whatever it takes to win and compete for championships for many years to come. We've proven that we can do it. We'll do it again.
Mark Stein and Chris Broussard are here with me. These guys are gathering information quicker than I can get a word out here. Let's get right to the nuts and bolts of this. Chris, let's start with you. When did LeBron James actually make this decision?
Well, he met Sunday with Dan Gilbert, his agent Rich Paul, Maverick Carter, his business manager, and they hashed everything out. The letter, the relationship, all of that. And after they came away from that meeting feeling good about each other and basically restoring their friendship or their relationship, that's when you'd have to believe LeBron was like, all right, I'm all in. He probably had to be somewhat in just to meet with Gilbert. But then, and I was hearing throughout the week that from a lot of people connected to the situation, there were only about 4 people you would hear it from and know it was true. So none of them were talking. That one of them is LeBron. Silence from them. But people around him, people connected to LeBron in various ways, growing up with him. There were a lot of people in Cleveland, Akron, who were swearing this was a done deal. And he was going to, and that's why myself and some other people were coming out strongly and saying Cleveland. He's going to, because you were hearing it, but you weren't totally sure because it wasn't from LeBron or his agent or Maverick Carter or somebody like that. But there were strong rumblings.
On this one, you could only be sure hearing it from LeBron. That was the only way I think you were really going to believe this.
Well, he learned from the last time, and so we don't know how all in he was before that meeting with Gilbert, but is there anything you think that Miami could have done to change his mind after he had that meeting?
It sure doesn't sound like it when you read the whole piece and you read all his thoughts. I mean, the going home angle, we all thought it was a big deal, but it's even more than we thought it was to him, that the chance to go home. And, you know, I actually thought in 2010 he was going to stay because of all this stuff and his ties to the area. I thought it meant that much to him to be the guy who lifts the Cleveland curse, and now the Cleveland curse is still in effect, and he's going to have a chance to do it now going back.
Yeah.
I think it was you, Mark, who said that you thought maybe he would reveal it on Twitter, right? So what was it what did you think about the way that he chose to do this?
First, it was jealousy, because there really is no one in our business who has a way with words like Lee Jenkins from Sports Illustrated. So to have him kind of co-write it with him, I wish I could get the same deal.
Of course.
But when you read the words, you see what he says. He wanted to just get it out uninterrupted, no press conference, no questions. He just put it all on paper and let us all digest it. It's smart, and I mean, he pretty much bears his soul here. So what can you say?
And Bruce, I
just got a text from one of the people one of that handful of people who would know. He says LeBron did not make a decision until Thursday, a final decision. Obviously, he was leaning strongly toward Cleveland, meaning yesterday. And the piece was written yesterday with Lee Jenkins of Sports Illustrated. So they're saying the final decision was not made until Thursday, but obviously he was leaning that way. There were a lot of rumblings, things of that nature.
And obviously that's just a scenario where LeBron's saying, okay, here's where my head is, this is what I'm thinking, and they just craft it together.
Let's dot the I's and cross the T's and make sure I'm all in on this.
LeBron James' departure sheds light on just how bare, though, the cupboard is in Miami now, though the Heat will re-sign Chris Bosh. Beyond that, they only have agreements with 4 other players: Josh McRoberts, Danny Granger, Norris Cole, Shabazz Napier. But McRoberts, Granger, and Napier still have to officially sign.